Hi, welcome back to the final part of our exhibition poster design. This is Tim. Now the last thing I want to do is add some graphics to separate the type from the background and make it a little more legible. Okay, so one thing I can do is create greater separation between the foreground and the background. And I'm going to do that by putting a color behind the whole box, the whole type. Alright? So again, I'm going to draw from the bleed line using my rectangular frame tool. Rather than put a picture in at this side, I'm just going to put color inside of it. So I'm going to click and drag all the way to the bleed line. Okay. And now I'm going to go up to, with that box selected. Okay, let's go to our selection tool so that we know what it is. Go up here to the contextual menu again. Okay. And we have these two things called stroke and fill. Okay. In this case, I'm going to fill it with black. All right. Not that great. It kind of sits on top of our type. Oh, bummer. Okay. So that doesn't work. So I go up here to my object palette and I go to Arrange. Helps if I select the box. Go up here to the object palette, select Arrange, and I want to send it backwards so that it'll go behind my type layer. Alright, so now, did you see that type layer pop out in front? Let's take this black, everything blends together in black, and I'm going to change the opacity from 100% and bring it all the way down so that it's just a hint of color. All it's doing is evening out the background slightly. Okay? So that it doesn't stand out so much. So that the picture, elements of the trees, don't overwhelm the type. Okay, so I'm going to try and line those up a little bit more, but now I want to get a little bit of separation between my type and the tone that I have behind it. So I'm going to go back up to the object palette, and I'm going to go back down to Effects, and I'm going to put a bit of an outer glow on that. So this is black type, so rather than a white background, a white glow, I want, rather than a black glow, I want a white glow. Put it on normal mode. Okay, it's on 2.469 millimeters. I can bump it up, bring it down. I can change the spread. Okay. So you can see that that makes it much more distinct, but that's a little heavy-handed. So all I'm trying to do is create an effect. Make that a little more legible. You could turn the preview box on and off. See what a difference that makes to its legibility. See if I spelled that correctly, more or less. How do you spell farmly? Okay. So I've got a size of 4, a spread of 10%, an opacity of 75%. Too bright. Not enough effect. Yeah, about 75, I think. Okay. I kind of want that type to be centered in that box that I have behind there. I think that's L-E-I, not L-I-E. That looks better. Okay, did I say save it? Now, I'm trying to get a balance between the impact of the photograph, make that big, fill the page. I need to put type on here, I need to provide that information, and so I'm trying to add type in a way that is graphically interesting. It makes the information also legible, right? You're trying to communicate with your audience, right? You're not making it a mystery to them, right? So InDesign gives us a zillion tools to do that, okay? And in this case, let's just hide that box for a second. Sorry, where'd it go? Hit the wrong button. Okay, so you can see where that glow makes that text a bit more legible. But if I add that box on there, okay, notice how you can barely see that gray box behind the type on the left-hand side where it's brighter, but it's much more obvious where that bit of sky is. So overall, it's a very fine, relatively subtle graphic element that keeps the text visible and legible without overwhelming that impact of the photograph that I want. So here's a design that I'm happy with. You can decide whether, yeah, no, I don't really want to buy that. Oh, forgot to put the date in there. Oops, we need to make that text box bigger. So I will select that text box, drag that down a little bit. Let's say September 1st to October 1st. How's that? Okay, notice that that didn't get my effect on it. So I can go to, oh, sorry. See how I can't do the effects menu when I'm in the type tool? Alright, so you find these tricks an awful lot. Trying to get used to InDesign, going, wait a minute, I did that a minute ago, how come it's not working? Okay, so once I get off that, and I click on my selection tool, because that type is inside the box where I've already applied that effect, the effect does come on. Okay, now if I can just increase the size of my box behind there slightly, let that extend top and bottom. Okay, alright, so there's an idea. Geez, that date is way too big. Let's make that more like 20 point. Okay. Okay, alright, we save it. It's given me something reasonable. We could tweak that a little bit more. So part of your job is just go through and experiment with these tools. Don't get too frustrated when you're saying, wait a minute, how come I can't do my effects palette? How do you make that line up again? Takes practice. You should do 4, 5, 6, 10 different exhibition posters just so that you work with this. And when we move on to our next lesson, we're going to be talking about how to create multi-page documents and build a photo book. And that's the plan. All right, thanks. This is Tim. See you next time.